Welcome back. I am continuing the reading of The Science of Healing. We are I stopped on page 75, okay? So this will be the completion of the reading of the book on this video. And it's all about healing and the science behind and history and all kind of great stuff. I will say it again and again and again. Those that have ears to hear, let them hear. Everyone else, keep it pushing. We attract our vibrational match. So those that have been searching, congratulations, you have found a gem. Yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to continue the reading of The Science of Healing, and I will start again on page 75 and continue, all right? In ancient Egypt, Horus is represented as a falcon, or the falcon-headed man, in which his eyes symbolize the sun and the moon. The phrase the eye of Horus, which is also called the Udjat, is referring to his right eye. The sun, which is the eye on the dollar bill above the pyramid. It was his right eye that was lost in a terrible battle between him and Set. On actual pyramids, the capstone does not exist. It was purposely never constructed. Pyramids are flat at the top. The fact that it was omitted was symbolic of the physical invisibility of the spirit. This is the closed eye of Horus over the pyramid, a picture taken from the Times newspaper article entitled One Man's War, dated January 9th, 1973. The open eye is patar, meaning to interpret, to know the truth. The eye of the mind being all seeing, closed, all thinking. So this was a picture of in the article in the newspaper. You can see the eye at the top. They're not open, they're closed. See that? Okay. The open eye is symbol of watchfulness, which is Psalms 34:15, Psalms 121 verse 4, and Proverbs 15 verse 3. The closed eye is a symbol of sleep, and the open eye is awake. Other symbols of the eye of Horus were the winged sun disk, used to adorn doorways in ancient Egyptian temples, which was another symbol of Horus, the sun god. The third eye is also the medicine symbol used by physicians. The medical symbol was a combination of the cobra intertwined around a staff and became the medical symbol called the caduceus. The symbol of abbreviation for medicine prescription is RX, which is the symbolic of the left eye of Horus. This symbol was first introduced by the Roman physician Galen in 130 to 200 AD, who used this sign when writing prescriptions for his patients. Galen first used this symbol in the 2nd century. The Columbia Broadcasting System, CBS, and Home Box Office, HBO, also use modified versions of the Eye of Horus as their logo. So these are the different things that they've said. Okay? Show and tell. The Eye of Horus is called the Falcon Eye of Horus, son of Osiris and Isa, or Isis, however you choose. According to the Egyptian myth, the falcon god Horus attacked his uncle to avenge his father's murder. In the ensuing fight, Horus's eye was injured, and his eye miraculously evolved into the sun we use today for prescriptions, the RX symbol. The Native Americans recognized the aware ability of human and symbolized the third eye in the headband. The headdress was symbolic of the aura of man. The headdress was worn especially during religious ceremonies. The Buddhists recognized the third eye by placing a jewel in the center of the forehead. In Hindu, it was called the Eye of Shiva. It was the center point through which the attributes of Shiva were expressed. Shiva is the deity of both construction and destruction. The third eye was the focal point through which the forces of destruction and construction were individualized. So here's the three symbols. You have the mythical one, you have the Native American, and you have Shiva. Okay? You may have seen the 1,000-petaled lotus used in many art forms. The Hindu selected the 1,000-petaled lotus to represent the highest inner development humans could attain. The lotus unfolds within the coming of dawn or light, just as man's consciousness unfolds. The Eye of Horus, used in Egyptian ceremonies and worn as a talisman, represented the power of the son of Osiris. The symbol was believed to possess the power to ward off all evil. The eye represented the sun and Osiris himself as the supreme deity. The third eye is accepted by many people as a symbol of deity. This is a picture of the lotus plant. Long ago, even though the third eye was considered human spiritual eye, it could see on the physical plane. It was capable of extending vision to distant points. It could see the various places. It could see the various planes of life from physical to spiritual. And it was a transmitter of thought as well as sight. When the third eye is used, the physical viewpoint is not used, but the spiritual viewpoint is. The whole body becomes filled with light. The whole body means the physical body and the etheric body. In order for this to be done, the activity in the seat has to be developed. The development is through meditation, breathing exercises, spiritual deeds, and sincere spiritual teachings. The brow and the crown. There are two glands that are important to opening the third eye. Number one, the pituitary gland, which is negative and feminine. It is associated with the spiritual and psychic center, the brow seat. And number two, the pineal gland, which is positive and masculine. It is associated with the crown seat. First, we will discuss the pineal gland. The word is from the word pinea, which refers to the pine cone because it has a pine cone shape, and it is the size of a pea. It is said that the pineal gland resembles the embryonic optic nerve. So this is a side view of the brain. Okay. Now it is said, I've seen better photographs than that, but like when it brain cut in half and you could see it, like it literally looks like an eye that the pineal gland sits in. So let's continue. Extending out from the pineal gland is a tiny hair-like projection vibrating at tremendous speed. When the projection vibrates at a higher speed, it vibrates at a frequency that is common to one of the planes. The plane whose frequency The vibration is common with, is the plane the person becomes in tune with. Before puberty, the pineal gland has spiritual functions, being the center from which radiates the mental and spiritual powers of the soul. During the first 7 years, children live by impulse, intuition, and instinct. At this time, the third eye is predominantly opened, and the oversoul, the etheric body, sends its messages through quite easily. The pineal gland at the age of 7 tends to partially degenerate, not performing what it did for the first 7 years of growth. A child is said to be shaped at the age of 7. His personality is already formed. He becomes physical. His third eye usually becomes closed because of parental indoctrination. The pineal gland physically decreases until the age of puberty, usually at age 13, when the pituitary gland assumes the function of the pineal gland. Functions of the third eye. Number 1, all messages received by the physical senses, 7 of them, must be sent to the oversoul, the etheric body. This is done through the third eye. Number 2, all messages received by the spiritual senses can only be sent to the physical consciousness by the third eye. Number 3, the third eye sends messages of knowledge from one level of the mind to another. The 3 levels are A, normal level, B, subconscious level, and C, superconscious level. Your mind has a numerous amount of memory vaults used for storage of the many experiences you have encountered. Although your normal levels of consciousness does not possess access to this knowledge. At various times, it receives intuition or instinct from the oversoul, the etheric body, which does have access to this knowledge. This is the reason you may have stated, I have been here before, or I remember this incident, or I have done this before. The mind level interlocks with each other. One form of message sending is intuition. If the third eye is not sufficiently opened, or it is disturbed by emotional stresses, messages between mind levels may be hindered, delayed, or sometimes completely interrupted. Number 4, the third eye serves as an area for perceiving planes of life other than the physical plane. Remember, there are 7 planes. Number 5, when a person speaks to you, your auditory or hearing system registers the sound of voice, which you relate to as words and place a meaning to it. However, the meaning that a speaker intends to attach by a certain word may not be all the same as the thought you attached to the word. The third eye, through inner sensitivity, receives the sound of the speaker's voice, but also the thought impulses or impressions projecting mentally and emotionally. Thus, you know the exact meaning being communication to you. Number 6, with the eyes you see the physical object, and that is all. With the third eye properly polarized and receptible to the aura or an object, it becomes possible to receive much additional information. You may be able to perceive something or the persons who have been involved with it, or may sense something of its past history or the history of persons who have been associated with it. Opening of the third eye. Before I tell you some things to help you open your third eye, you must learn this. Polarity, the fact that there is present or a manifestation of two opposites or contrasting principles or tendencies in the body, the positive masculine and the negative feminine. As you know, like charges repel and unlike charges attract. The magnetic field of a human is part of Earth's magnetic field, of which it is a part, and in which it moves independently. These fields are composed of positive and negative vibratory energies or forces. These two forces are respectively called centripetal and centrifugal. Thus, the effect is centripetal, which is pulling, and centrifugal, which is pushing. It's put in here for a reason, so I will show it. That's Earth and the male and female pushing and pulling on the Earth. Okay? A centripetal force comes towards the Earth from the universe, and a centrifugal force comes from the center of the Earth. In ancient times, centripetal and centrifugal were called the forces of heaven and earth. They directly affect the construction of the male and female's bodies. And here's another example below. Okay, we're learning together, right? All students come to the front. A man's sexual organs appear externally and downward and are related with centripetal force, which relates to heaven. The force comes through the top of the man's head, the crown seat. This is related to the 12 loves. In order to produce the higher part of man's structure, the sperm, life germ, must pass up the spinal column to the medulla oblongata, conductor of pulses between the spinal cord and the brain, to the 12 cranial nerves, the 12 occult nerves, where it is then charged with the light that comes from the crown seat to the brow seat, the third eye, to the 12 cranial nerves. After the sperm is charged with light, it again goes down the spinal column to the tubes located between the prostate glands, to the urethra, which goes through the penis and gushes forth, as mentioned in the Quran 86, verses 6 through 7. If this gushing forth is conceived, a total person is produced. Without receiving the electrical pulses obtained from the light, a person would be short of his mentality. Man has 7 seats. The heart seat is between the seats. It is the division of the lower part of man and the higher part of man. The heart seat emits a light that is pinkish in color because it is in tune with the white light of the 12 cranial nerves, the 12 occult nerves. And it meets with the red light of the lower part of man, cardinal part. They blend to produce the 12 beams of light, which are the 12 forms of love. The 12 forms of love are: number 1, love of oneself, the most deadly. Number 2, love of wealth. Number 3, love of fame. Number 4, love of success. Number 5, love of mate, husband or wife. Number 6, love of child. Number 7, love of parents. Number 8, love of brothers and sisters. Number 9, love of one's tongue, word, which is the tongue. Number 10, love of life. Number 11, love of prophets. And number 12, love of the Most High. This is the totality of all creation. mathematics, and the personification of the physical bodies and its ability to function on earth. The heart seat deals with the thymus gland. That involves the sexual growth and maturity once you reach the age of puberty. It dissolves in the heart seat. It dissolves because you are now exercising both of these glands. The higher, which executes the decision of love, and the lower, which is the application necessary for reproduction, the procreation of life. It is at this point that the thymus gland disappears, and the person becomes either male or female. And the 12 lights are seen at this point. The decision of hate, which is the counterpart or love, is there at this point. Now, I hear you. Now, in the case of women, the centrifugal force affects the body by the sexual organ. It is a pulling force and is shown by the effects of her body with the stages of the moon. As a rule, every 29 and 1/2 days during the life of a woman, she is to menstruate or have a flow of blood from the womb. The moon completes its cycle every 29 and 1/2 days by circling the earth, which is on a 23-degree axis. Women's menstrual cycle follows that of the moon, if she is in tune with nature, the physical. Women are supposed to menstruate on one of the phases of the moon, namely new moon, first quarter, full moon, or last quarter. The moon changes according to seasons. So does menstruation. Women's cycle changes 4 times a year: winter, fall, summer, and spring. The moon is a non-luminous revolving body that receives its light from the sun. In summer, the sun shines strongly, which causes the menses to flow heavier. Likewise, in the wintertime, the menstrual flow may be less because of the sun shining weaker. Intensity of sun on moon in 4 seasons. There's a diagram showing the sun in the 4 seasons. Okay? And you thought school was over. Nonsense. Okay. Intensity of the sun on moon in 4 seasons. Whew. This whole menstrual process is interrupted upon conceiving, which results in 9 months of pregnancy. The centripetal and the centrifugal forces is one of the concepts of yang and yin. In some, there is an abundance of negative charges, while in others, there is an abundance of positive charges. Though the difference in some instances is slight, there is always an abundance of one or the other. Question: what is the difference between positive and negative polarization of the third eye? Answer: the third eye forms a smaller magnetic field contained within the greater magnetic field of the individual. It is either positive or negative in polarization. It must be one or the other in order to fulfill the function needed of it at any given moment. In most people, it is quiet, positive, and forcefully active. Being positive, it radiates and projects its vibrating energies outward. This makes it a body. This makes it a sending rather than receiving mechanism. It sends to the oversoul, the etheric body, through the third eye, the results of all experiences, thought, and emotions experienced by the normal level of consciousness. However, such positive polarity usually prevents it from impressing thoughts or ideas of an intuitive nature upon the normal level of consciousness. In other words, it prevents the body, the physical, from receiving. The positively polarized third eye pushes messages away, going against the oversoul, the etheric body, to the normal level of consciousness, the physical body, are hindered, interrupted, and disconnected. Therefore, you have to polarize the third eye. So here's images, arrows, so forth. Get that for your pause it if you need to, so you can understand the pushing and pulling and the everything that goes with it. Now, how to polarize the third eye for receiving messages. Number one, become relaxed completely, pushing away from your mind all concern with immediate surroundings and problems. Number two, direct attention inward and upward towards the third eye through a sphere of light surrounds your entire head. The green light. The light is green. Number three, without mental strain, center your consciousness upon the idea that you are creating until the flow of thoughts open the mind level messages. Number four, at the same time, attempt to sense or feel the state of receiving that you are creating until the flow of thoughts open the mind level to receive messages. Now, do not do this for long periods of time, for it would be of no avail. And never go to the extreme and keep the third eye in a negative polarity, receiving messages. Do not stay in that open state. Exercises in opening of the third eye. Number one, to become more receptive to the intuitive impulses coming from the oversoul, the etheric body, attempt to create a sending and receiving field in the third eye area. Draw the current toward you. This is meditation. The message of the oversoul will travel easily and quickly, since everything would be flowing in the same direction. Reversing the polarity from positive to negative is accomplished without conscious effort. The flow is so subtle in nature that it responds almost immediately to any direction of the wheel. This explains why the flow is predominantly outward or positive, because the positive thought is usually the type expressed. Number two, chant, "O he who is, O he who is, O he whom no one knows what himself is, save him." Relax, chanting slowly. I've never done this. Direct attention to the third eye. O he who is, O he who is, O he whom no one knows what himself is, save himself. Interesting. The combination of the vibratory stimulation created by the voice or chanting with that of your thought serves to activate the third eye. Remember, you have power in the sound of your voice. Your voice is not unlike any other voice out there. And therefore, when you speak and you send out your vocal tone, your signals is unique for you. That's just me. Okay, caution. No. Number 3. For this exercise, your emotions must be pure and under control. Concentrate on the pineal seat and the pituitary seat. Bring the seat of light up. Caution. It is wrong to focus attention upon the root seat at the base of the spine and mentally force the seat light up. This can cause the light to descend. Number 4, visualize a sphere of light some 2 or 3 feet before you. Then, mentally, with your will, bring the light towards you. This mental activity creates the sense of inflow and receiving, Draw the light closer and closer until finally your entire head is encircled with light. This type of mental exercise causes expansion of the mind and opening of the third eye. This type of development is not accomplished in one sitting or overnight. It is gradual. Question: how do you know when your third eye is open? Answer: you start realizing and accepting the things for what they are as being from the Most High. The science of healing. We have finally come to the chapter of the book in which I have entitled this book, The Science of Healing. I have previously discussed Melchizedek. It was his marvelous healing works that caused his exaltation in ancient times. He was and is master of a healing science that is little understood today. The green light of Al-Qadir Melchizedek releases a healing force by the power of the mind, focused with full intensity in the inner body and on the acceleration and direction of the inner forces of the body. Melchizedek was appointed by Anu, who is also known as Allah, as a medium and a guardian over the earth, and as a source of healing for human. The presence stimulated by a visual thought force with tremendous life energy within and surrounding the physical body. The body is made of 7 degrees of substance. These 7 substances vary in density and vibration. You only know of the 3 of these substances: solids, liquids, and gases. However, there is a shadowy form that is called the etheric body. That is an exact duplicate of the physical body, but made of 4 higher substances. First ether, electric ether. Second ether, life ether. Third ether, light ether. And fourth ether, mental reflection. 4 ethers of physical region. Number 7, fourth ether, mental reflection. Number 6, third ether, light ether. 5th, second ether, life ether. And 4th, first ether, electric ether. Dense physical or chemical region. Number 3, gases. Number 2, liquids. And number 1, solid. The etheric body, or the part of you that is composed of ethers, is called the body of life or body of vitality, without which the denser part of you would not be able to live. When I say body, I do not mean another body apart from yourself or another form of expressing an individual intellect or personality. I merely mean another shadowy stage of yourself. As stated previously, the etheric body and the etheric senses are attached to your physical body by a very thin etheric cord. Through this etheric cord, you receive what your spiritual senses detect. The etheric body is the body of life force, of vitality, and of energy. Without it, the physical body is in darkness, without life and light. The etheric body is the part of a human that keeps in contact with the spiritual realm. The etheric body can exist without the physical body, but the physical body cannot exist without the etheric body. The etheric body is the body that digests the activities of the 7 seats or 7 spiritual senses. The etheric body draws in the energies through seats, which sends the energies through the glands of the physical body. Question: when your body becomes ill, what has happened? Answer: the physical body and the etheric body have somewhat become disconnected. The physical body is cut off from its source of life force. When your inner light becomes dim, your body starts filling with darkness. The body starves and the cells starve for life. Humans were gifted with the ability to heal under proper guidance, which was studied under the elders. The same healing abilities the prophets had, and the same healing abilities Jesus had and taught to his disciples, not only the 12 disciples, but others also, are the same abilities that human has. All human had to do was follow the right path. The healing ability was instilled in all human, from our conscious to our subconscious, physical to spiritual, cranial to spinal nerves, to the seat of light, the chakras. The secret was to understand how to direct the green light of Al-Qadir, Melchizedek, to release tensions within and to stimulate its vibration, to bring all the cells of the physical form into harmony, one with the other. Without the green light, it is also the same. Without the Most High, nothing would be. The green light acts like a magnet, stimulated within the body. It attracts from the magnetic force field surrounding the body the etheric particles of green light, which are waiting to be drawn into the body by the seats. Every molecule in the body, in every atom that makes the cells of the body, is built around a magnetic center of positive and negative, held together by the light, green light, that connects all to the bosom of Anu. The small light of the cell or atom is what holds it together and keeps it from wandering off on its own. Here's pictures, okay? Those that have that scientific mind. The atom, the molecule, the cell, the electromagnetic force field, positive and negative, the centripetal and the centrifugal forces, the light, all are the basics of the solar system of the universe. Things we must realize. Number 1, the earth is just a resting place and the heavens a firm foundation. Number 2, all things of the material, this physical world, are just fair seeming illusions. And number 3, we have power dormant in us. Number 4, until we free ourselves from the petty things in our personal life, we will remain bound to this physical realm. Number 5, we do not easily comprehend the spiritual worlds or the life of those worlds because they exist in different dimensions from those that we have perception. Therefore, the logic that we may apply here in this material, the physical world, doesn't necessarily mean that it can be made applicable in the higher realms. When humans' desires had outgrown its purity and the elders looked down into the earth and anew saw fit to send down the elders from the circle of bring human back to his position as ruler on earth, what would have happened if it were possible for people to destroy themselves? All the planets would be drawn back up into the sun, which would be the results of star holocaustal, because of the magnetic force that keeps this universe in fit form. Where did the elders come from? The elders came from a period of 76 trillion years ago, which is our cream in history, in which time we were living air pockets in the form of gases, in the process of creating the universe in which we reside. We created 10 air pockets in space and beyond called spheres, which gave each planet a radius to properly rotate around the sun. We created the positive masculine and the negative feminine polarity, presently known as centrifugal and centripetal forces, that lock each sphere into a set law known today as the solar system, in which energy nor matter cannot be destroyed. 7 steps to healing. There are 7 steps to healing. Number 1, food. Number 2, water. Number 3, drawing in and directing the green light, the healing force, which harmonizes the chakras. Number 4, training the subconscious mind level by visualizing perfection. Number 5, transforming the physical body through prayer and chanting. Number 6, trust in one's teacher and self. Number 7, faith in the Most High. It is no secret that food is necessary for good health. Food helps to build resistance against diseases of different sorts. We can go without eating for several days, from 10 to 50. Food is used for energy and used to prevent deficiency diseases. It gives the different types of foods. Okay, we have cheese and dairy products, fish and eggs, meat and poultry, fruits, vegetables, breads, and cereals. Now, water. Water is necessary for the body to be provided with water, since a major part of the body is made of fluid. Water is a solvent, having the power to dissolve. It is important for dissolving foods and waste in the body. 2/3 of the body's weight is made up of water. Water helps regulate the body temperature with perspiration when the body becomes too warm, and it helps release waste through the skin. All of the body cells are made up of a large amount of water, and the body must be bathed in water in order for the cells to carry on their activities. 70 to 95% of water makes up the protoplasm, a translucent, colorless, semi-fluid, complex substance that is the physical basis of life, the living matter of all cells and tissues. The elements absorbed into the body from food and liquids create a negative polarity force. Food and water are made up of solids, liquids, and gases of the material plane. The food and water are absorbed into the bloodstream and pumped through the system by the heart. The food and water, the liquid, replaces and revitalizes damaged cells and tissues while the body sleeps. It works through the subconscious mind level by the sympathetic nervous system. It supplies the blood cells within the bone marrow. It helps keep in order the pulse beat of the heart and helps to keep on the process of breathing. By the negative polarity forces that are breathed in, the breath of life, through the lungs, there is equalizing of the flow of the positive negative streams of life forces throughout the body. This has a calming effect upon the nervous system. The nerve fluid becomes tranquil, steady, etheric, currents of balanced power. This is a result that occurs through the indrawing and directing of the green light, which harmonizes the seats. Drawing in and directing the green light, the healing force, which harmonizes the chakras. I have already said that the etheric body, the oversoul, is made of 4 higher substances. First ether, electric ether, second ether, life ether, third ether, light ether, and fourth ether, the mental reflection. I have also stated that illnesses are the result of the etheric body being disconnected from the physical body. And illnesses may be due to a lack of an ether substance. The elders refer to the healing ether as nafs, also known as prana. The elders described nafs as follows. The entire universe, from spirit to human, is the product of one substance. It is the primary and basic substance out of which the earth and the heavens are made. All are composed of the same substance, with this difference. In one field of expression, its manifestations are subtle and invisible. In the other, they are gross and visible. Subtle and invisible, soul, gross and visible body. Without the activity of nafs upon Aru, the physical body remains in a state of darkness. Humans are constantly projecting his life forces outward. Once he is able to open his third eye and bring the green light healing force into the body, this positive, negative life force will flow throughout the body, recharging every cell, removing illness from the body. Visualize a channel of green light from Anu to Melchizedek, flowing downward through the crown seat and into the physical body. Concentrate on the green light, overcoming and sending downward any undesirable elements in the physical body. Imagine the disease within the body being swept into the flow of light and carried out of the body through the feet. The feet are not touching so that the particles may flow out and away from the body. It is not good to sit in a lotus position because your feet touch your body, making the particles flow back into the body. The green light sweeps the disease particles out of the body. Next, lock the flow of the green light by crossing the feet so that the green light remains within your own force field. The disease particles should have been flushed from the body by this time. After you have crossed your feet, locking in the green light, breathe the name of Allah evenly and slowly. And again, visualize the green light healing force pouring into the body through the crown seat. As the green light flows in, visualize a halo of green light consecutively surrounding each seat, beginning with the crown seat at the top of the head. The green light then goes to the next seat, surrounds that set with a halo, and continues on downward. You should, in picturing the channel of green light with each seat surrounded with a halo from head to toe. Believe firmly in the fact that the green light that you are drawing into your body is flowing from the Most High, Elyon, El, to Melchizedek, feeling those auras and entering each and every cell of your body to restore it to sound health. After you have completed your breathing process, quietly sit, visualizing the crown seat, vibrantly throwing out sparks of light like a sparkler. The sparkler shoots upward and out. This continues until the aura of the whole physical body is sparkling brighter and brighter. By now, you should feel peace and harmony with each cell of the body. Excuse me. For they should and would have been renewed. Sit quietly, visualizing each seat having an aura. The aura of the whole physical body is sparkling. This is what you make happen in the inner you. Energy follows thought, an active law in the science of healing. So we have these positions of sitting with the feet okay. Sit quietly in Ajasa, the sitting position, palms up, fingers are not touching, nor are the feet touching. Lock the green light, the healing force within the body by crossing the feet, turning palms down and closing the fingers. Every time that you touch something or someone, an etheric thread or cord is established between your hand and the person touched. If the connection is a casual one, the mind is not connecting on the contact with that person. The etheric thread disappears. But if the mind concentrates on the contact, etheric power flows along the thread. Every time a thought is directed along the etheric thread, the energy that follows that thought increases the power of the contact between two people. The etheric thread becomes an etheric telepathic wire of energy. It is important in the science of healing. Secondary breathing. Breathing, which seems so commonplace, is controlled by a cycle of electromagnetic impulses that pass down from the medulla oblongata to the solar plex region, or an area of the navel chakra. What happens is that the light is received from the crown seat to the third eye. From the third eye, the light travels to the medulla oblongata and rises from the sides of the medulla oblongata to spread into the cranial nerves. Within the 12 cranial nerves is found the vagus nerve, which consists of motor fibers that sends nervous energy to the pharynx, the tube or cavity with its surrounding membranes and muscles that connects the mouth and the nasal passage with the esophagus, the larynx, which is the voice box, muscular and cartilaginous structure lined with mucous membrane at the upper part of the trachea, the tube extending from the larynx to the bronchia, serving as the principal passage for conveying air to and from the lungs, the windpipe, the heart, which is the blood pump, the thoracic viscera, the chest cavity organs, the lungs, and etc., and the abdominal viscera, the abdominal cavity organs, the intestines, and etc. At certain times, it is not unusual to find that your regular breathing is temporarily suspended as a different type of breathing takes over. Do not be alarmed. This happens automatically at times without the slightest effort from the individual. It is a spiritual breathing that many people have practiced. It is a natural and regular breathing process in which you feel no lack of oxygen or any necessity to suddenly take a deep breath. This type of breathing has been spoken of many times and used many times. All of this is accomplished through the vagus nervous system. The vagus nervous system connects the heart and the head. It is through the channel of this nerve that the soul withdraws at the time of death. The vagus nerve system is a fragment of the etheric cord that is attached to the physical body and links it to the etheric body, the oversoul, and the mental. Train the subconscious mind level by visualizing perfection. Okay, this spark or itself is this spark or itself, for as human continues on in the last days, the Aquarian age, with all that is there to tempt him, the disciple must be disciplined through his faith and through his works and sacrifices. This is acquired through patience, a virtue, a moral excellence, a beauty of holiness, a spirituality. A polytheist lacks the understanding that 99% of his body is obedient to his creator. It is the 1% that makes him rebel to the divine law of his creator. That 1% that makes him rebel is comparable to a penny of $1. It is just as important as the 99 cents of $1 is what is needed. Does mankind think that he will ever overstand the spiritual if he does not overstand the physical? If through time mankind has dropped in degrees coming from up to down, then in order for mankind to gain his degrees, he must work his way from down to up, physical to spiritual. Indeed, he needs the intellect, the pen, and the light, those things that were in the beginning. If earth is a school of life, and the goal of mankind is to become perfect, there must be someone who had graduated with the equivalent of a master degree. Then the purpose of that someone with the master degree would be to help guide the people and give them intellect, the ability to decide wisely, and overstanding. This someone is called a sheikh. This is not the so-called sheikh that you know today as a vulnerable man over the age of 50, worthy of deep respect. This sheikh is a group of the higher part of the heavenly realms, serving many spiritual purposes. The group is individually called the ancient, the sheikhs, the masters, the Nephilians, or the elders. The group as a whole is called the secret seat of counsel. Over them presides Melchizedek. In reference to the science of healing, all of them engaged in the healing art. Melchizedek radiates the green light to the elders. Healing the body was divine activity that had considerable degree of attention. Someone who lived by the spiritual practices and discipline was able to obtain this ability. The elders believed that the sick body could be filled with divine power, the light, so as to cast out illness and disease. In short, it was making a holy place uninhabitable, but unworthy things by creating an atmosphere in which they could not remain. The elders believed that the sick body could be cured by the plant. For every illness of man, there exists an herb, a root, a leaf, or a bark to heal. Okay. All right. So in Ezekiel 47:12, the modern Hebrew script, and by the Nakal River upon the Safa bank, therefore on this side and on that side shall Allah grow ascend all 8 trees for Makal, for meat and food. Those leaves shall not nabale fade, neither shall the the fruit, therefore be tamam, consumed or complete. It shall bring forth bakar, new fruit, firstborn, according to his Kodesh month, new month, because their Mahyim waters, they Yetshah issued, came forth out of the Mikdash sanctuary, and the fruit thereof shall be for ma'akal, meat, food, and the leaf therefore thereof for terufa, medicine, healing. And altogether it says, and by the river upon the banks thereof, on the side and on that side, will send all trees for food, whose leaf will not fade, neither will the fruit thereof be consumed. It will bring forth new fruit according to his months, because their waters they brought forth out of the holy place, and the fruit thereof will be for food, and the leaf thereof for healing. And that's the right translation in Arabic Hebrew by Dr. Malachi Z. York. And this is the mistranslation from the King James. And by the river, upon the banks thereof, on the side and on that side shall grow all trees for meat, whose leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. It shall bring forth new fruit according to his months, because their waters they issue out of the sanctuary, and the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf thereof for medicine. Thus a spiritual healing, the green light, and a physical healing of herbs, as above, so below. It has this little, as above, so below. So let us remember that there is an angelic mission as well as a mission here on the earth. I call it the spiritual mission. Their light overshadows those of us who serve in the mission on earth. How did I find this out? I found out through this experience I now share with you. I planned a deliberate retreat from the world to prepare myself to face the responsibility of elevating, which was not yet born to me on the earth's plane. I meditated, studied, planned, and prayed, attempting to receive intuitional guidance from Melchizedek. It was my prayer that would make me worthy of the elders presenting themselves to me. Finally, one night, I became aware of a majestic being. My inspirational impressions indicated that he was concerned with healing work. In my meditation, I was impressed with his name, Melchizedek. This meant a great deal to me. I immediately identified him as the guardian of the earth. I was then impressed with the meaning of his name, Angel of Justice. I made an effort to draw closer to him so I might experience his healing powers by invoking his name. To my surprise, I found this healing power did not come directly from the green one to me, but through Zoser, who is of standing amongst the elders. I became aware that Zoser was high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek generates a green light over the 24 elders. The 24 elders hold position in the secret seat of council. I then applied that which was above me, the secret seat of council, to that which was below. Now that is the end of. I don't know if the P.O. box is still available in Eaton, Georgia, but because this book was written back in the 90s, and that was the reading of The Science of Healing. Hopefully you got out of it valuable information. Please obtain books for yourself. Re-listen again, read the book, reread, meditate. Do all the things you know to do. But the whole point is you need to do the work. And don't just take anybody's word at face value. So, with all of that being said, I thank you for listening to me read. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share, and come back for more. So, until then, have the most benevolent day.